I love an unraveled woman in a story. I just love reading about a narrator who completely falls apart in the most chaotic and the most messy way. Acts of Desperation by Nolan definitely delivers on this story. This is a story that follows our narrator. She is 23 years old. She's very young, and she's dating a much older man named Kieran, who she is very, very attracted to and very, very infatuated with. But Kieran is not the man that he appears to be. He is cruel, he's harsh, he's cold, he is also very, very mean. And despite all these flaws, despite him having all these traits that you would think would deter our narrator from wanting to be with him, she has somehow convinced herself that he is the perfect guy for her. Continues to grow increasingly more infatuated with him, increasingly more obsessed with him, even knowing for a fact that Kieran has this other relationship going on with his former partner named Freya, who he just can't seem to remove himself from. As she goes through this very, very tumultuous relationship with Kieran, you see how desperate our narrator becomes in so many ways, how she desperately tries to keep her relationship with Kieran together, no matter what the costs, even at the cost of her own happiness, at the cost of her own sanity. You see her desperately trying to find love in other places and seek validation in other places. And she eventually just spirals into this black hole of chaos because she is trying so hard to find herself in this mess. I think one of the main testaments to how great a writer Nolan is the fact that Kieran triggered just this inner anger in me, and it was such a strong, deep-rooted resentment kind of anger that I had towards him and towards his character throughout the story. The thing is that everyone is very, very flawed in this book, including our narrator. She's very vulnerable, she's very pathetic, she's very naive, she gives in, and sometimes you kind of want to shake her and try to snap her out of it, but she talks about things and speaks about things when it comes to love, when it comes to her own body, when it comes to her own self-esteem, her own insecurities, that is also very, very relatable. She talks about how very easy it is to lose yourself into somebody else when you don't feel very grounded in yourself. And I just think that the internal monologues that happen in this book are very, very profound. I think the writing is also done very well, and I think the way the story weaves in the actual plot with the narrator's internal dialogue is done in such a beautiful, cohesive way. Acts of Desperation actually remind me of these two books, Hausfrau and The Days of Abandonment by Elena Ferrante. Both of these books gave us female leads who basically unravel due to the relationship. If you haven't read Acts of Desperation and you've seen this book by Nolan and you're wondering if it's worth reading, I think it is. I gave it 5 stars and I really, really enjoyed it.